Hello everyone, I'm David Volante, founder of Volante Design. I want to show you some of the cool stuff about the operator system. This project we started actively working on this project in July, August 2020, but the origins of the project can be dated back much further than that. We've been working on bag designs, we've been working on all sorts of things that would lead up to what we're doing now. In the fall of 2019, Willow and I went to Japan. We visited for a Tokyo Game Show, and we just visited the countryside of Japan. And on that trip, I brought one of our stealth kits. I used that to carry around my phone, my wallet, my passport, and be able to walk around without having my pockets laid down and without carrying a huge bag. I noticed while I was using that sometimes if we decided that we wanted to stop and hang out for a few hours and maybe bring a book, hang out, sit in a coffee shop, my phone and my wallet wasn't enough for that process. So I couldn't bring my books in the stealth kit. I wanted to be able to have a bigger bag when I wanted it and have just the essentials when I wanted just that. So we came up with this expansion of the stealth kit that would allow a backpack to be attached to it. And we thought a couple of different sizes for this backpack would be a good idea. We have the smaller pivot bag, and then if you really need to bring everything, you can bring your big bag. And we thought, why not just make it so that all of it can be attached together so you can just take off the parts that you need and use what you need when you need it. When we go to conventions, we are carrying lots of stuff. We are there to sell products. We need to have as little as we can at a given time. And so being able to have just what we need and just the bag for that when we need it was something that was really important to us. The hardest part for me for this project from the beginning was figuring out how all the parts were going to come together before we even had a real design for each individual part. Those things kind of have to happen simultaneously in the design process because designing a product and making it so that it'll attach to things, they're sort of hand in hand. I started this project by designing the pivot bag, which is a nice small pack, but it's a new totally new thing that I've never designed before. At the time that I started designing the pivot bag, I hadn't designed a bag in years, and getting back into that was really challenging. Coming up with all of the dimensions that we need, making it not too big and not too small, and making sure that it fit everything that we wanted it to fit, that took a long time for us to process. Once I had that design, I could extrapolate from that design to create the operator bag and the frame and everything else that would sort of match to the size and shape of this base structure. The easiest part of the project for me was actually designing the stealth bags, but that's mostly because I'd already done the work a year before creating our stealth kit. And I was just taking what we had already done and sort of iterating on it based on my use case experience with it, and also based on the new features of the system that we were using for the whole operator system. We have an established style at Volante Design in terms of our jackets. Generally we do very strong contrast stitching, strong color blocking, making sure that all the designs sort of have a nice pop, asymmetry, angles, all this stuff that is sort of built into our look in our jackets. And we wanted to make sure that the bag would work with just about every design we've ever come out with. So we have all these different color schemes, we have the contrast stitching, we've got the angles. It is sort of inspired mostly to look like our Augment collection. So it has this kind of cyberpunk futuristic look, but I didn't want to go too cyberpunk or too futuristic because I wanted it to function with the rest of our stuff as well. For this project, or for this bag, we decided to launch with 4 different color schemes. We generally do tons of different color schemes. We want people to be able to choose what works for them and be able to express themselves in their color palette. So for this we have the blackout color scheme, which is all black. That's easy. Nobody can argue with an all black color scheme. Then we wanted one that had a little bit more pop than that, so we have the dark side color scheme, which is this one. It's mostly black, but with red stitching, and we added this white print of our name on it on the zippers, so it has a little bit more pop. And then we started getting crazy, and we added our real pop colors, which is our trace blue and our shakudo, both of which have been a big mainstay for our 2020 collections. We've made all of our masks out of them. We make all this stuff. They're our current favorite color schemes. Another key element of this design is that it is a water-resistant product. We wanted to make sure that the bag would be able to protect your essentials in any environment. So the entire exterior is all water-resistant. We thought, why not also make the lining water-resistant? So you have that double layer of protection. And we also added the waterproof zippers. First time we've ever used waterproof zippers. Zippers being waterproof adds a new level of functionality while also being really cool looking. When we were looking for fabrics for this bag, we wanted something that would have a nice texture to it. So we got this really cool hexagonal ripstop. The benefit of ripstop fabric is that it has these reinforcement threads woven into the actual fabric itself. What that means is that the pattern is a stronger material that will stop a small rip, but won't add to the overall weight of the material too much. In short, it's lightweight and strong. A key piece of hardware for this system is the pivot buckle. The pivot buckle will move with you. It will adjust. If you tighten something, it will adjust to the new position a little bit better. It will always be there. It'll always be at the angle that it needs to be at to be comfortable for you to wear it. The great thing about the pivot buckle is that it's easy to use. You slide it right into place, and then you can just push the button and remove it. I also wanted to use one of my favorite buckles, which is this magnetic quick release buckle. We've used it on a couple of our jackets. It's a great centerpiece. It's nice and powerful and super easy to use. It clicks into place because of the magnet, but all the force is being held by hardware and not by the magnet, and then all you have to do to remove it is pull the tab and you're good to go. For everyday use, I'm partial to the frame and stealth bags, but to take that one step further, I think my favorite configuration is the same but with the pivot bag on the back. Honestly, the biggest hurdle was coming up with things to put into bags. I don't usually carry a lot of stuff, but I wanted to make sure that this system fit other people's needs as well as it fit my own. We're really excited to be able to share all this with you. We're launching our Kickstarter in April. Until then, stay badass.